Lindenwood head coach Jed Stugart, the team 64-0 winners over St. Thomas, picks up their first victory of the season. They're going to start association play. They're going to be at Eastern Illinois, the third all-time meeting between the two programs. So, Coach, just I guess general thoughts first about your team and the performance against St. Thomas.
Well, it was definitely needed. We've been. I feel like Saturday we finally put four quarters together and played a complete football game from start to finish. I think that was one thing that coming out of the first 3 weeks, we knew it was a tough schedule, and I think the frustrating parts of that first 3 weeks is, we played in. I kind of spoke to you before. We kind of played in flashes, and we could see these flashes of us being capable of being a good football team, and so it was good to see us put four quarters together against a really good football team. And I think the lessons we learned is we challenged them about the importance of practice and having consistent days of good practices and not taking little lapses, staying focused in practice, getting back to the little things of fundamentals, defensively and offensively, and they put that together. Now, now you got to kind of throw that away, and now we start conference play and facing a really good opponent, and they've got to match kind of what they did last week as far as the prep, not just the game, but the preparation leading into this game.
Thanks, Coach. We'll go to questions. Dan, do you have questions for Jed? Dan covers Prairie State Dixon, covers EIU and the Illinois FCS team. So go ahead, Dan.
All right. Thanks, Kyle. Good to see you again, Coach.
You too, Dan. Good to see you.
Coach Wilkerson earlier today said, Jeff Caldwell may be the best receiver out there in FCS. And just, you've obviously coached him out for a couple of seasons. Just what makes him so good?
Well, Jeff's just, he's just a natural, football player. I mean, he's long, he's athletic, he's got great hands, he's fast. I mean, he just kind of checks all the boxes of what a good wide receiver is. And, I think, last week would kind of see, I've mentioned this word flashes. We've seen all 3 weeks where you can see Nate and him kind of building that little bit more of that chemistry. I think that kind of really shined last week, that their chemistry is kind of coming on. I think, Jeff's just, was in, he's a really quiet guy. I don't think he looks at himself probably like others do. I mean, he's an impact player and can change the course of a game in one catch. And he's drawing a lot of attention too. Obviously, as we go into each week, more people are going to spend more time with him, which I'm encouraged by the depth in our receiver room, of other guys that can kind of take advantage of that a little bit, because we're going to see a lot more coverages that are going to kind of be rolled toward Jeff and bracketed toward Jeff, and that should open up other opportunities for our other receivers.
In the brief time that you and Eastern Illinois have played, there's been just some down to the wire close games. Not that that's going to affect this year, but what can you draw from that going into the game?
Well, first, I mean, Chris does an incredible job up there. I mean, they got a really good football program, and he does a really good job. And, I think, our proximity, I know, we talked about the fun rivalries that are part of college football. And we kind of both agreed and talked about how, this is turning into a fun rivalry for each program. We recruit a lot of the same kids. We're proximity. We're pretty close. We've had close football games the first 2 years, an overtime game, and then last year another close one. And so it makes for a fun atmosphere. This is a team that we highly respect, and they bring a lot of guys back, and we know they're how quality of a team they are, not just based off. They've had a really tough non-conference schedule as well, and so both of us have kind of been through that, and I'm sure they're going to be really hungry playing back at home, coming off of a tough loss last week. That again, the score wasn't indicative of the type of team they are, and we know that, and our kids know that.
I got one more for you. What should Eastern Illinois fans know about your team?
Well, I mean, I hope that, I know we're a team that, I think we're a close cultured team. I think we've battled through a lot of adversity, even last year with the kind of adversity that we felt just with all the injuries and how they kind of stuck together and how they stuck together through the off season. I think it's a very close team. It's a team that doesn't quit. And that's why, I think last week we always knew this team does never quit. They'll fight you down to the bitter end. And if we could take care of those things in the middle of the game and put 4 quarters together, kind of like we did last week, I think they can be a really good football team. But, we have to show that in our conference. We have to, prove that in our conference. We can't just talk about it. Yeah, love these guys. It's a great team to be around. And I'm really proud of how they've handled the first 3 weeks, through some of those frustrations. And sometimes you get to 0-3 and you got going into the last week, your teams could be sitting on a confidence problem or a teeter-totter, which way they're going to go. And, they responded really well. And I think that says a lot about the culture of these guys.
Thank you very much, Coach. Appreciate it.
You bet.
I had 2 more questions for you, Coach. You referencing maybe a week or so ago, Cortez Jones, and he had a big game for you. So what has he done, and since he's joined your program to be a really good running back?
I tell you, Cortez, from the moment he got here, just earned the respect of our team right away. Of course, we played against him when he was at Murray, and he came, kind of searched us out, felt like, he joined our team, felt like he really enjoyed playing against us and kind of liked what he saw culture wise. And so he brings great off the field, leadership, encouragement. Like but then, he's a tough runner. I think he's one of those guys that doesn't ever stop his legs. He's a big load. So, I mean, once he get, you're not going to arm tackle him. So but I think what makes Cortez great, we've got a pretty good stable of running backs, and all of these guys kind of could start. All these guys could be our feature back. But, when you kind of have the depth we have, it's encouraging to be able to kind of use that depth and use that rotation. But what I love about Cortez, and I could say this about all of our running backs, when when they're not in the game, they're their position group's biggest cheerleader, man. They're rooting them on, excited for them. And, they don't, and that's how Tez is. He's ready when called upon. And he showed that last week when Steven got dinged up a little bit and came in ready to go. That's just kind of how Tez is.
And then I want to talk about your special teams. Obviously, Logan's been your kicker for a while. He hit some field goals. He kicked all your extra points because you score a lot. That was positive, I thought. And then you had the block punt early on too, which sort of set the tone for the game. So just how happy are you with your special teams play?
Well, it's been a big call. The challenge of special teams can win and lose football games. Coach Baldwin really challenged that group. Felt like we could get a block. We worked on it. Kind of called it. It was one of those things. He challenged the guys to get a block, scoop, and score, and it's exactly what we got. And I really appreciate our guys are our special teams plays actually been pretty good this year and pretty consistent. And you achieve what you emphasize. That's something that we've really emphasized, and we really make it kind of a big deal to be a part of special teams here. And the guys take that serious. I know every coach, says that. We all say that, but trying to get your kids to buy into that and not just look at it like just one play in between offense and defense. And especially to see Robert Giamo, the guy that blocked that, with all the adversity he's been through injury wise and being healthy again. And for him to be able to make a play like that really set the tone for that game, the first score. And then we just kind of built off that momentum the rest of the day. It was pretty special. And Logan's just been highly, highly consistent, for his 4 years being here. And for his family, his brother Austin set a bunch of records set a record there at Tampa Bay in the NFL here not too long ago, I think a week before. And for him to be able to kind of come out as a good day for the Seibert family. And so that's exciting for him and for his brother.
Well, Coach, thanks for your time this morning. Best of luck this week, and we'll talk to you again next week.
Thanks, Kyle.